Sunday's training camp session for the Baltimore Ravens started with tension in the air. The kind of tension that comes when a team is pushing through the dog days of preparation, and the smallest mistakes can feel like the biggest roadblocks. It was one of those mornings where frustration bubbled over early and Lamar Jackson was right in the middle of it. The offense already under the microscope after a string of practices where the defense had seemed to own the day stumbled out of the gate. Within the first handful of plays, the first-team offensive line committed 2 false starts in the span of 5 snaps. Ronnie Stanley went first, followed quickly by Roger Rosengarten. For a team that had already dealt with its share of penalty issues in camp, this was gasoline on an open flame. Jackson's frustration was obvious. According to reports from the field, he spiked the ball hard after the second flag, letting everyone within earshot know exactly how he felt. John Harbaugh wasted no time making a statement, pulling the entire starting offensive line off the field and replacing them with the second unit. Normally, the offense might get a chance to reset after a penalty, but not this time. Harbaugh's decision was immediate, a message in itself. The Ravens have been experimenting with more complex snap counts and cadences this summer, and while those tweaks can pay dividends once the real games begin, they've also contributed to an uncomfortably high number of pre-snap mistakes. Earlier in camp, those penalties often came from second-team linemen, guys still trying to earn their place, but seeing the same issue crop up with established starters was something else entirely. For Stanley and Rosengarten, both of whom have been called for false starts at other points this summer, it was a clear sign that this problem wasn't going to fix itself without some urgency. But if the day began with frustration, it didn't end that way. Something shifted after that rocky opening. The offense, may be spurred on by the embarrassment of being yanked for backups, caught fire in a way that had been missing for much of camp. Lamar Jackson, so often the spark plug for this team, started connecting all over the field. His first strike was to Tylan Wallace, threading a ball across the field for a big gain. Then, with key blocks from Patrick Ricard and Tyler Linderbaum, Jackson had time to find Mark Andrews over the middle. On another snap, he rolled out to his right and dropped a perfectly arcing throw to Rashad Bateman, who climbed the ladder to bring it down. From there, the rhythm was undeniable. The Ravens were crisp in the red zone, with Charlie Kolar continuing to find ways into the end zone and rookie Zay Flowers showcasing his explosive footwork. One highlight saw Flowers work against rookie corner Nate Wiggins gain just enough separation on an outbreaking route and haul in a Jackson pass while keeping both feet in bounds before tumbling out near the pylon. Bateman was a frequent target, part of a balanced passing attack that stood in sharp contrast to the early days of Jackson's career, when the offense often revolved almost entirely around Andrews and Hollywood Brown. This version of Lamar spread the ball with confidence, hitting different receivers in different spots, forcing the defense to cover every blade of grass. That willingness to distribute is a sign of both his growth and his trust in the talent around him. For much of camp, observers had noted that Jackson hadn't looked entirely like himself. His passes were sometimes off his timing, just a fraction behind. But training camp isn't always about peak performance. It's often a laboratory. Quarterbacks try throws they might never risk in a regular season game just to see where the limits are. Defenses experiment with looks they wouldn't normally show. Knowing mistakes now can turn into valuable lessons later. Jackson, by all accounts, had been testing those boundaries. It's a mindset not unlike a pitcher in baseball spring training, throwing pitches in tough spots just to see if they can make it work. Sometimes the results look ugly in the moment, but they're an investment in long-term improvement. Former players like J.J. Watt have talked openly about this, reminding fans that what you see in camp isn't always what you'll see on Sundays in the fall. Still, that doesn't make it any less satisfying to watch a franchise quarterback lock in and deliver a practice like this one. Jackson's competitive fire was visible throughout, and while some might frown at an on-field outburst like spiking, the ball, his teammates see it for what it is: passion, urgency, and leadership. Rashad Bateman noted afterward that Lamar has been more vocal than ever this year, not just with the receivers, but with the offensive line and even the coaching staff. His message has been consistent: stay hungry, stay competitive, and never settle. Lamar has never been the Ray Lewis type delivering fiery pregame speeches in the middle of a huddle. His leadership is more often by example, but that doesn't mean he shies away from holding people accountable. In that sense, moments like this early practice frustration become part of a larger story about setting standards. By the time practice ended, the early penalties felt like a distant memory. The offense had put together one of its sharpest sessions of camp, and that was no small thing given the defense's dominance in recent weeks. Iron sharpens iron, as the saying goes, and in Baltimore the defense is sharp indeed. But the offense showed on Sunday that it can not only withstand that pressure, but thrive against it. For Jackson, the day was a reminder to everyone watching whatever ups and downs camp may bring. When he's in rhythm, this unit is capable of special things. The challenge, of course, is sustaining that energy and execution. Training camp is a long grind, and even the best teams will have their share of uneven days. But the Ravens know that if they can minimize self-inflicted mistakes like the ones that marred the opening minutes, their ceiling is as high as any team in the league. Sunday's turnaround from frustration to dominance might not count in the standings, but inside that locker room, it was the kind of day that can set a tone for the weeks ahead. While the first half of Sunday's practice was dominated by talk of penalties and Lamar Jackson's resurgence, the other major storyline hanging over the Baltimore Ravens right now is one that every team dreads at this time of year: injuries. It feels as though this training camp has been a steady drip of players missing time returning and then new names appearing on the list. Some of these absences are minor, a matter of a day or two of rest, but others have brought longer-term consequences. And the attrition has been felt most noticeably in the secondary. The news broke on Sunday that rookie cornerback Robert Longerbeam will miss the entire season. It's the second time in just a few weeks that the Ravens have lost a first-year player at the position. A sixth-rounder, Bo Braid, had already been sidelined with a devastating knee injury involving multiple ligaments. For a team that has dealt with recurring depth problems at cornerback in recent years, seeing two young options wiped out before the first preseason game was even in the books is an unwelcome reminder of how quickly that depth can evaporate. Head coach John Harbaugh offered little clarity on Longerbeam's specific injury, brushing off questions with a vague, "It's a long story," and even joking about borrowing the line, "It is what it is," from former Ravens coach Brian Billick. That non-answer only fueled speculation that the team might be stashing Longerbeam on injured reserve, perhaps seeing him as a developmental piece who wasn't likely to make the 53-man roster this season anyway. Whether or not that's the case, the loss still stings. Even players who aren't expected to start can play important roles in practice, in special teams units, and as insurance against the kind of attrition that often strikes mid-season. The Ravens have been here before. In past years, what looked like a stacked cornerback room in July suddenly became a patched-together unit by December, held together with mid-season signings and practice squad call-ups. It's why the front office values depth so highly and why fans can't help but cringe when another corner limps to the sideline. That was the scene again on Sunday when rookie defensive back Keon Martin left practice after appearing to tweak something. The team hasn't indicated the severity, but it added another layer to the day's injury narrative. Star safety Kyle Hamilton, wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, and running back Keaton Mitchell were all absent from practice as well. Harbaugh said, "None of their issues are considered serious, but the growing list of players in various stages of recovery is hard to ignore." Mitchell, in particular, is someone the Ravens would be wise to wrap in bubble wrap until the regular season. His role as an explosive change of pace back is secure after last year's breakout moments, and there's little to gain from exposing him to preseason hits. Running back Rasheen Ali has also been banged up, and Harbaugh's comments about needing to reevaluate the position made it sound, at least initially, like something more serious had occurred. The team moved quickly to sign veteran running back Myles Gaskin, a player with starting experience who could soak up carries in the remaining preseason games. Whether Gaskin is simply camp depth or a longer-term practice squad candidate remains to be seen, but the move underlines how fragile that room can feel once injuries start to pile up. Injuries are hardly unique to the Ravens. Every team is dealing with some degree of them right now, but the cumulative effect can be draining. A player sits out a day, returns, then another goes down. It interrupts the rhythm of camp changes, practice rotations, and can delay the development of on-field chemistry, especially for units that thrive on communication and cohesion, like the secondary and offensive line. Speaking of the offensive line, The injury narrative ties back into Sunday's earlier drama. While neither Stanley nor Rosengarten is hurt, the reality is that offensive line continuity can be just as fragile as secondary depth. The Ravens learned that last season when injuries forced them to shuffle the lineup repeatedly. Every missed snap in August is a missed chance to build that collective timing and trust that separates a good unit from a great one once the games matter. And yet amidst the concern, there were bright spots from the defensive side of the ball. On Sunday, Cooper Rush running with the second-team offense looked sharp for the second straight day, delivering a touchdown strike to Tez Walker in the red zone despite tight coverage from Keandre Jackson. Rookie safety Malachi Starks flashed his ball skills with an interception during one-on-one drills, staying stride for stride with receiver Jamal Banks down the sideline before making the play. In the kicking game, Tyler Loop had his busiest day of camp, going 12 for 13 on field goal attempts, his lone miss a 45-yarder that sailed just wide left. Cornerback Ruben Lowry also had a standout day, breaking up one pass and intercepting another during 7-on-7 work. For a team suddenly thin in rookie corner depth, his emergence has been a welcome development. Veteran safety Geno Stone, known for his knack for being in the right place at the right time, added a pass breakup on a blitz, getting his hands up just as the throw left the quarterback's hand. The Ravens have long emphasized the importance of batting down passes at the line of scrimmage, a skill that players like Calais Campbell and Brent Urban once made a hallmark of the defensive front. Those plays might not make highlight reels, but they can be drive killers. Even with the defensive highlights, the biggest takeaway from Sunday may be the offense's ability to rebound from its ugly start and play a clean second half of practice. After the early false starts, there were no more pre-snap penalties reported for the rest of the day. That kind of course correction speaks to the team's focus and leadership, and it was clear that the players understood the message Harbaugh sent by pulling the starters early. The hope now is that the Ravens can carry that focus forward while also finding ways to keep their key contributors on the field, or at least get them back there soon. Kyle Hamilton doesn't need August reps to be an impact player in September. But even the best talents benefit from some live fire preparation. The same goes for DeAndre Hopkins, who is still working to build chemistry with Jackson after joining the team this offseason. Whether those stars see the field in the second preseason game against the Dallas Cowboys remains an open question. Harbaugh has been non-committal, saying he'll take it game by game. That approach mirrors the broader philosophy the Ravens have. Taken in recent years, prioritize health above all else in August. It's a balancing act. Play your starters too much and you risk a needless injury. Sit them out completely and you miss a chance to sharpen timing and execution before the opener. For now, the Ravens will continue to navigate that tightrope, knowing that their goals extend far beyond winning a preseason matchup. Sunday's practice offered a snapshot of both the challenges and the promise that define this point in the season. The injuries are real and can't be ignored, but so is the resilience shown by an offense that refused to let a bad start define its day. If they can bring that same resilience to the weeks ahead and get a little bit of luck from the football. Guards on the health front. They'll be in position to hit the ground running when the games start to count. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. Whispers have started circulating in the NFL world that DeAndre Hopkins, the star wide receiver, might soon be donning a new jersey far from Baltimore. The possibility of Hopkins leaving the Ravens has ignited a flurry of speculation, fueling rumors that this offseason could mark the end of an era for the Purple Birds. Sources close to the organization suggest that the team might be open to trading Hopkins, which would send shockwaves through the league given his undeniable talent and impact on the field. Hopkins, known for his exceptional route running and sure-handed catches, has been a cornerstone of the Ravens' offense since his arrival, but contract negotiations and team strategy adjustments might be driving this potential split. The Ravens' front office appears to be considering a roster shakeup, and moving a high-profile player like Hopkins could free up significant salary cap space. This move, if it happens, would be a major gamble for both Hopkins and the Ravens, raising questions about the future offensive identity of Baltimore and where Hopkins might land next. Fans and analysts alike are eagerly watching every development, trying to decode the Ravens' intentions and what this means for one of the NFL's premier wide receivers. Speculation abounds about which teams have shown interest and what trade packages might be on the table. Amid the buzzing rumors, the question remains, which city could be the next home for DeAndre Hopkins? Several franchises are reportedly eyeing the possibility of acquiring Hopkins, seeing him as a game changer who could elevate their offense to new heights. Teams struggling with receiving core or looking for a reliable veteran presence might view Hopkins as the perfect addition to spark their playoff ambitions. Market dynamics in the NFL make such a high-profile trade complex, but the allure of Hopkins' elite playmaking ability is undeniable. Analysts suggest that teams with strong quarterback situations but lacking top-tier receivers could be the frontrunners in pursuit. The prospect of Hopkins stepping onto a new stage and reshaping a team's offensive strategy has fans speculating wildly. Will he go to a city with a storied football legacy or land somewhere hungry for a breakthrough season? This potential move could redefine Hopkins' career trajectory and have significant ripple effects across the league. As teams weigh their options, the balance between draft capital, salary considerations, and immediate competitive advantage will dictate negotiations. Every rumor about potential landing spots only adds fuel to the fire, making this one of the most intriguing offseason stories. The possible departure of Hopkins from Baltimore also raises questions about the Ravens' future direction and how they intend to rebuild or recalibrate their offensive approach. Losing a receiver of Hopkins' caliber would create a notable void, one that the coaching staff would have to address with new strategies or emerging talent. Some insiders speculate that the team might be looking to invest in younger receivers or shift their offensive philosophy toward a more balanced attack. Baltimore's management is reportedly aware of the pressure from fans and the media, but seems focused on long-term planning rather than short-term appeasement. The internal discussions hint at a willingness to take calculated risks, even if it means parting ways with a beloved player. Hopkins' role in the locker room and his influence on team morale are also under scrutiny, as leadership dynamics often play a part in roster decisions. How the Ravens navigate this transition will be closely watched, and it could signal a new era for the franchise. Whether Baltimore can maintain offensive consistency without Hopkins, or if they will pivot entirely, remains a hot topic among NFL circles. This speculation underscores how delicate and impactful roster moves can be at the highest level of professional football. Meanwhile, the media frenzy surrounding Hopkins' rumored trade has not subsided, with analysts dissecting every possible scenario and implications for all parties involved. Speculative reports hint at potential suitors ranging from perennial contenders seeking that final piece to elevate their championship hopes, to rebuilding teams aiming to add a marquee player who can draw fans and stabilize their offense. The financial aspects of such a deal are also under intense scrutiny, as Hopkins commands a significant contract, which any acquiring team would have to carefully manage within the constraints of the salary cap. The interplay between Hopkins' desire for a competitive situation and the Ravens' strategic goals creates a fascinating tug-of-war, with both sides trying to maximize value. Pundits speculate that a trade could involve multiple players, draft picks, or a combination thereof, underscoring the complexity of negotiating such a blockbuster deal. The pressure on Hopkins to perform in a new environment and justify any trade investment adds another layer of intrigue. This brewing trade saga captivates fans and insiders alike, making it one of the most talked about storylines as the NFL off-season progresses. The anticipation builds with every new rumor, turning Hopkins' potential move into a hotbed of speculation and excitement. Ultimately, the possibility of DeAndre Hopkins leaving Baltimore signals more than just a player. Switching teams, it could reshape the landscape of the NFL's wide receiver market and team-building strategies. If the Ravens do part ways with their star receiver, it may set off a chain reaction, influencing other trades and free agent moves as teams scramble to adjust their rosters. The ripple effect might extend beyond Hopkins, affecting quarterback decisions, offensive schemes, and even draft priorities league-wide. For Hopkins, a new chapter could mean renewed opportunities, challenges, and a chance to cement his legacy in a different uniform. The pressure to quickly adapt and excel in a new setting would be immense, but also a testament to his resilience and skill. Fans in Baltimore and beyond are bracing for what might be a seismic shift in the NFL offseason landscape. As the rumors persist and official announcements remain pending, the intrigue surrounding Hopkins' potential move remains at a fever pitch. This unfolding story is poised to be one of the defining narratives of the offseason, captivating the football world with its drama, uncertainty, and the promise of big changes ahead. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.